Okay, so let me share the screen. So far we had looked classes and objects in the object-oriented programming. When you work with classes, there is this concept called inheritance. So inheritance is when you have a parent class, okay? Now, you defining a class as a parent class, and then you'll create a child class which inherits the properties and methods of the parent class. Okay, so in this example, this is a clip from the movie Lion King. Okay, so in this, there's a moment in the movie where this is Alex, okay, and this is Zuba. um, Zuba and mom find that their son Alex is actually they discover that he is Zuba and mom are discovered by Alex. Okay, how they discover is he opens his palm. Uh, he opens his paw and just sees that both their paws are having the same symbol of Africa. Okay, so in this, Alex just discovers he has the same property as the parent class. Okay, the parent has a property here, literally like the map of Africa. So inheritance is basically when you want to extend the parent class methods in a child class. Okay, so Alex does have some properties which are common to the parent, but Alex doesn't. He grew up in New York. Okay, and he is more uh, he's not trained to hunt. Okay, whereas when Alex discovers that he's got the same properties in class, he finds his parents. So this is one moment in the movie. What I'm trying to say is the properties of the child class can be different from the properties of the parent class as well. So you can have some methods which are uh, new in the child class. See, Alex can dance. Okay, so in inheritance, you you create a child class which inherits from the parent class. Okay, while doing so, the parent class methods and properties are available in the child class. Okay, we'll see how. Okay, and you can also code your own properties and methods in the child class. So this is also called subclass. Okay, another name for this is also called class and subclass. Okay, so earlier we saw the vehicle class. We created the vehicle class in the last session. Okay, so vehicle class is created with, let me just switch to the code here. The vehicle class is created here with name, manufacturer, speed. Okay, these are some properties, and of course, we had the string method. Okay, but when you have to create a child class or a new class which inherits from the parent class, you do so by creating the same way class bus. Okay, now I'm creating a bus class and a truck as new classes. Okay, while inheriting, how do you say that this class is inheriting from parent? You will put the name of the parent class within this brackets. Okay, so that's how the subclass or the child class inherits from the parent class. Okay, so vehicle is the parent class and bus is the child class. A child class also is having a constructor. Okay, this is a constructor which applies for every class. The definition of the constructor is like this. The signatures are like that. The first parameter is self, everything same. However, the first line of code is you are calling the method, or you're calling the properties of the child parent class. Sorry, you're calling the properties of the parent class with this line of code called super. The first line of code inside the child class constructor is super. Okay, this is a function here, super dot init. So when you say super dot init, you are instantiating, you're initializing all the properties and methods of the parent class inside the child class. Okay, so this is the constructor, and the first line of the child class will always super and init. Okay, now these three arguments, name, manufacturer, speed, is passed in while calling the parent class. Parent class constructor here. We are literally calling the super dot constructor of the parent class. However, you can assign your own value to the constructor. Here I'm saying self dot speed is equal to some string plus speed. So super and speed. Okay, so you can set a new value in the child class for your property. Okay, so now I go about created the first class, first child class called bus. My second child class I'm creating is truck. Everything is the same. I'm just calling it with a different name. I'm using a different name here. In this child class also, I'm inheriting the vehicle class. Okay, so these are also called subclasses. Bus and truck have made a subclass inheriting from the parent class, which is vehicle. Okay, now I can create new objects of this child class. Okay, so Volvo Express is equal to bus, and I'm assigning some value here. Okay, Vajra, Volvo, and fast. So this is the object of the child class bus. Okay, when I pass like this, the child class constructor is first initiated, and this constructor has the first line of code super. So that means all the values are initialized in the parent class. Okay, and when it is to be set with a new value here, super plus fast, okay, it will allow me to create a new definition in the child class constructor. Okay, initialize the parent and you can create your own definition inside. So that's why you are doing a subclass or a child class. So data is a object of the child class initialized like this. Okay. So then everything is the same when I go about printing a Volvo Express. So the Volvo Vajra travels, it comes to here where it encounters Volvo Express dot speed. What happens? Speed is fast here, but in the child class, I have got line 39 here, which is assigning some additional value to this. So what it will print out is, though I'm passing the value fast, it will print out super fast. Okay. So Tata Ace travels slowly will become Tata Ace travels super slow. Okay. So this is showing me that I can change the behavior of the child class by adding new functionality, a new level of functions. That's what I showed, like Alex can dance. Okay. But all the properties and methods of the parent are available in the child as well. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So here I have a class called, I'm creating a parent class, len. Okay. There is no parenthesis here, no brackets here, class line colon. I'm having my own attribute. The constructor is set, okay, initialize, and I have a description. I have one method which is going to be like this. This is another string format. Earlier we have seen while printing, we have used F in before the double quote. Another string format is I have the double quoted string with the flower brackets, and I can say dot format. Okay. So dot format is a function of a string. Inside the string, if I have two flower brackets like this, the first one and the second one, following this format function, I can pass the argument values which will get replaced here. Name will go into this first flower bracket. Self.age will go into this second flower bracket. So this is a string format, which is a different kind of formatting. Unlike the one which we saw earlier as F and a double quoted string with the flower brackets, here we are having the double quoted string dot the method or the built-in function called format, okay, followed by the arguments. Okay, so this is a class method. So the line class has got two properties, name and age, and it has got a method called description. Okay, so parent class is clear. Okay, so is that clear in the parent class?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on. Now we are creating a child class. This is line cub. Okay, this is the line cub child class. After the child class, this parenthesis or the brackets here, we are passing the name of the parent class, line. Okay, so line cub inherits the line class with this syntax. Okay, then we are coding the constructor. Default constructor is the first function of the child class. Self, name, age. The function signature is all the same. The first line of code in the child class is super. Okay, super dot init name age. I pass the value which is name and age is passed back to the parent class with this super code. So super makes the child class inherit all the properties and methods of the parent class. So what's the function of super? It initializes or it inherits all the, it inherits by this line parenthesis and the brackets here, but super initializes all the values of the parent class with the values passed from the child class here. Okay, in def, I'm creating a new method in the child cub class, def dance and self comma speed. Okay, this is a new method. What it returns is like that. First flower bracket dances the next flower bracket. So it will give me an output. Alex dances slow. Okay. So Alex can dance. So Alex can dance slowly. Okay. So then my child class is created like that. Now we're going to instantiate the object. Zuma is the parent class object, is a lion who is 12 years old. Okay, so Zuma is created like that. So print Zuma.description will give an output. Zuma is 12 years old. Okay, we have coded the description function like this. Okay, then we are assigning the child class Alex is equal to line cub. Okay, line cub, passing the value Alex is 4. So is age of Alex. Then we can call alex.description. Okay, alex.description we're not coded anything in the description in the child class. If you note, I'm just allowed to call alex.description because the function of the parent class method is available in the child class. Okay, and it will print whatever the code there was written. So now it will print Alex is 4 years old. Okay, and I've created another new method here in the child class, alex.dance. I'm passing slowly, so it will give an output. Alex dances slowly. Okay, now if you see the description here, it's giving the output. Okay, when I call these print, the print output is like Zuma is 12 years old, Alex is 4 years old, Alex dances slowly. Now, so you coded the child class and you created objects Zuma and Alex of the parent class and child class respectively. Okay, so by doing this inheritance, you have created some functionality, like in this case, the description. In the parent class, you don't have to code for it in the child class. Okay, so that's the benefit of inheritance. You have um, all the methods and all the properties and methods available in the child class. Now, with inheritance, you also have a concept called polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism. So let me, so we have seen some object-oriented concepts. One is encapsulation, which is binding the property and method when you create a single class. Then we have come to the concept of inheritance, where the properties and methods of the parent can be inherited in the child class. Now, polymorphism means you are allowed to override, or yeah, you are allowed to override the function of the parent class. So here, Zuma.description is directly available in alex.description, the child class object. Child class object is Alex. Without writing any code in the child class, it was available. But if you choose to write additional functionality, this description can be coded in the child class as well. And you'll want to write some new function, okay, new code. Maybe in the parent, it has got some 100 lines of code, but now you want to add another 50 lines of code in the child class. So this is possible where the name of the method is the same, and it is the same between the parent and the child, but the child class is having new code. Okay, everything remains the same, but when you are adding new functionality, it's called overriding. Okay, so when you do subclassing, when you're doing a child class from a parent class, you can have additional functionality in the child class, and this concept is called overriding, or um, you're set to override the function of the parent class. Polymorphic functions are the name of the function, the signature, everything is the same between two classes. I could have two classes separate, but we saw earlier add function had different signatures, right? Add function had two numbers, then we could do star args and it took dynamically different numbers. So same name, different classes is polymorphism, but overriding is applicable only between a parent class and an inherited child class. So when inheritance comes into play, you could override this function at the parent in the child class, adding new functionality. Okay, so that's called overriding. Okay, So hope you understood the concept of polymorphism and what is overriding. Okay, is that clear, Sriram? Okay, I'll put it in a different way. Same name of the function between parent and child. In the context of parent and child, this is called overriding. Okay, same name. But polymorphic functions, the name is the same between two classes. It need not be an inheritance. That's polymorphic. Okay, so same name between two classes is called overriding. Between two classes, which is parent and child, is overriding. Okay, is that clear?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
All right. Now, before we go to multiple inheritance, okay, just one slide here. There can be multiple inheritance like this. Now here in this picture, we are seeing Alex has got a father and a mother. Okay, Zuma and mother. Okay, so there are two parent classes. So in case of multiple inheritance, I can have class A, class B. Okay, uh, but while creating a child class, I can have two classes from which they are inheriting, A comma B. Okay, so class C is my child class which inherits from A and B, and it can be coded. Okay, now class D is another class, but it is inheriting from B comma A. So there is something called the method resolution order, which is available as a default function. Now, if I do class C dot MRO, method resolution order, it will tell what is the order. The order in which it is inheriting is from left to right here, A first and then B. Okay, that means it will go to search for the method in class A, then look for class B. Okay, so class D goes class B and class A. So the order in which it goes is from left to right. Okay, so class B first, it look for function coded in class B. If it looks there first, and then it goes into class A. So that's called an MRO. And how you print that is C.MRO and D.MRO. So this is a case of multiple inheritance. All right. You can override. So I told overriding the parent class. Though the image here is like in the movie, there are there's one scene where Alex is a friend with the zebra, okay, and they start a race, okay, and as they start the race, both of them run, but lion doesn't catch up with the zebra. He doesn't know to hunt either, right? So the zebra is faster, but at one point of time, um, Alex instincts kick in, okay? He tries to hunt the zebra, okay? So he is sort of got that inheritance of hunting, okay? And right at that moment, um, the other two folks are the raccoon, so he is at the top of a coconut tree and he drops the coconut right on, and it falls on Alex's head and he rolls off. So what this point is, I want to drive home is the parent class has this description method. Okay, it is available in the child class. So Alex has the ability to hunt. Okay, and you can override that method. So to override the method, I made a very small change, which is I put the same description, the signatures are all the same. Out here in the return, I've given Alex is a 4-year-old cub. Just a small change, and it will print the word cub. So you can code for the parent class method in the child class. Everything, the signatures remain the same. But in the child class method, you are adding new functionality. You are uh, adding some code here, which I've made a minimum change. So then when I create the object, Alex is equal to line cub Alex, comma 4, and print from the method of the child class. Now it will print Alex's 4-year-old cub. So this is basically we are overriding the function of the parent class in the child class. Okay. The example of that is hunt. Okay. His instincts of hunt kick in, but he can also hunt, and you can change that functionality in the child class. So is this clear, Sriraam?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, that's the last concept of overriding. Yes, and we have a small quiz here. What is the difference between a class and an instance? Just review each of these questions. We'll go one after other. Okay, I give you some time so that you can come up with your answers in your mind. Are you ready, Sriram? Shall we give it a try?
Yes.
Okay, the first one, what is the difference between a class and an instance? Uh, yeah,
Uh,
go about answering. I am here to um, give
a
you
class is sort of like a blueprint or template for creating
the object.
an
Yeah,
object.
yeah.
Uh,
An
yeah, and it's used
instance,
to encapsulate like data and stuff.
right? Okay. An instance is
Instance is sort of it's a singular object
okay.
that that's made based on the class
Yeah,
blueprint.
yes. So an object is an instance of the class. So class is the blueprint, while instance are objects from the blueprint. Okay. So uh, that's a simplest definition. Class is the template of an object. An instance is an object from that blueprint, from that template. Okay, how do you instantiate a class? I mean, this refers to the code. It's like assigning. I'm giving you a hint. Yeah. Um,
You call the class and then give it a name.
assign it to a variable, right? So you assign it to a variable. So you say person or Ravi is equal to person and pass the data. Okay. So here, class name followed by parenthesis. Okay. We are passing the object data, and that is a handle to that class, and that specific data is assigned to this object called Zuma. So that's how the line of code to instantiate a class. Okay. How do you access attribute of a class? This is like vehicle, I mean, object dot the attribute of the
You
class. How are
you
you?
can access them by their class name or their instance.
Specifically, it's object dot attribute reference. Okay.
Check that
With
out.
the dot
Okay.
notation. So Alex dot age. Okay. Alex dot age. Okay. So object dot attribute reference. What is a method? It's a easy one. Yeah. What is a method? Yeah, go about answering.
They're used to
Method is,
operate it.
yeah, it's simply a functionality. Okay. Method is a function. Okay. Method is a function inside the class, and uh, it's written inside as a function of the class. So it's a function defined inside a class. Okay. Okay, Sriram. So you write one or more methods inside the class, and that becomes a blueprint, becomes a template. Okay. So method is a function. Yeah. What is the purpose of self? Yeah.
Self, it allows you to access the certain attributes. Uh,
Self. The purpose
it's
of self is the reference of that object which will get created inside the class. Okay, when we encounter the word keyword self, self means the it's the first argument. Okay, but essentially self is used inside the constructor. Okay, it is the first argument in every method. Okay, it references to the instance of the class. The class, it is written in the class definition, but what it means is it's the instance of that class or the object which would get created at the time of assigning the value. No, it refers to that inside the class definition. So inside the class definition, self means it's referring to the instance of that class. Okay. And it's the first argument in every method. Okay. What is the purpose of init? Init method.
to initialize the newly created object.
Yes, very good. It initializes and it is called the constructor, which initializes the object of that class. Okay, initializes the instance of the class. Okay, so describe how inheritance prevents code duplication. Here it means that um, there is a parent class and a child class. Okay, yeah, let's see. You go about answering, I will guide you.
Reduces code duplication by since it allows you to define a parent class,
And a child class which will
a
inherit
child.
from the parent. Okay.
Yes.
And my code written in the parent class through inheritance is available in the child class. So that's the hunt method, or Alex has got the hunt method or inherited from the parent class. Okay. Now, in our example, what we saw a description method, which is from the parent. It is also available in the child. Okay. So all the code, all the properties and methods are available in the child class by inheritance. Child class inherits all attributes and behavior of the parent class. Behavior here referring to the function or the method, so on. Okay. All attributes and behaviors of the parent class are available in the child class. Okay. Right. Can child classes override properties of parent?
Yes.
Yes, very good. So in a child class, uh, you can write a new code to override the method of the parent, and it's called overriding or method overriding. Okay. Okay. Yes, that's true. Okay, very good. Some other points you might hear as questions could be, what is the difference between overloading and overriding? Okay. Overloading is what we saw in the add function. Okay, add function is a single function which initially took a comma b, but we could overload by adding a comma b comma c, a new definition. Okay, so overloading means essentially the function can be the same name but allow different parameters, different arguments in the code. Okay, overloading. But when you hear the word override, its context is set between a parent and a child. Okay, its context is set in inheritance. Okay, So anytime you come across that question, what's the difference between overloading and overriding? Overloading is a polymorphic function with different signatures. That means parameters can be like add with a comma b, add with a comma b comma c. Okay, that is applicable even uh, in two classes, but the same name. They are overloaded. Okay, overloaded is specifically applicable to a context of a function overloading. Okay, or method overloading. Whereas method or function overriding, whenever you hear override, its context is between its context is inheritance. That means there will be a parent class. There is a description of the parent class as our example. In this case, this description is there in the parent class, but in the child class method, you will add some new functionality. Okay, you're adding a new functionality. Alex is a 4-year-old. So that is overriding. Okay, so hope you understood the difference here. What's overriding, overloading? Okay, so very good. Okay, so that's set of answers here. So with which we will wrap the session here. Okay, uh, we'll continue with the hands-on in the next class. Okay, so we got this part, which is okay. Let me even, yeah, I'll go through this code here and we'll wrap it up. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's
Okay. So class bus inherits vehicle. Okay, I'm just running this code here. So the parent class was created earlier, no? This we created early, vehicle class. And that was how it printed. No, this is another subclass, truck. Okay, so truck goes very slow, very fast. So then I'm creating an object of the child class. Bus Volvo is my child class. Tata Ace is my child class. Both these objects are created, and now I'm printing the output like that. So the Volvo Vajra bus moves very fast. Okay, very was the small change I did in the child class. Okay, so here super is initializing the values of the parent class from the child class. Okay, same here. Super initializes all the values uh, of the parent class inside the child class. Okay, all right. So this got printed with, and we are seeing this is also is printing very fast. So though we are passing the value fast, the constructor is making it change as very fast. Now when I print, it's giving the child class object ID, UUID. So Volvo Vajra moves very fast. So there is code reuse happening. When this super is called, the parent class UUID string method, all this is initialized. And it prints the output when I call the object of the child class. That's the ID. So this is a string method. Okay. Is that clear? To string your name. Okay, I could even explicitly define some toString method which will give my own output. Okay. In Java, you will use this toString, but Python, you don't have to write toString. The default render method is str like this. Okay. So here is len. I have description. So description here, line is created. The constructor is coded here, return So this has capability to say Zuma is 10-year-old. Okay. Uh, this is the string format. Okay. Line cup. I'm inheriting the line method, line class in the line cup. Constructor is just coded, nothing else, super init. Okay, super is a function dot init. So I'm initializing the parent class constructor and passing the value from the child to the parent. Description dot no description is having self, and I return an overriding. So description is in the parent and description is also in the child. So I'm overriding with line cub here. Okay, and rest is all the same. I can have my own method. Alex can dance. It's there coded. The child class can have its own methods, whereas disk is the description here is overriding. This is a separate method. Now, when I created the child class here, then I'm instantiating the objects Zuma and Alex, the parent and child class. Okay, then Zuma.description. Zuma.description is going to call the parent class method Zuma is 12 years old. Okay. Whereas Alex.description is the overriding function. It is printing me the output. Alex is 4-year-old line cub. Where this came from is the line cub is an overrided method in the child class. Okay. Inheritance allows you to, without coding, you can still use description. Okay. But you could override. Okay. And Alex dances slowly. Okay. So that's my child class method. So is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let me do one thing. I'll pass this code here. You can create, okay, the vehicle also you're not created, right? Have you created this inheritance, this part?
No.
No, right? Okay, so yeah, you can code for it. I can, or I can share it in the chat. Yeah, let me just share it in the chat one by one so that you can pick it up from there. So vehicle you have created, correct?
Yes, I have class vehicle, yes.
Yeah. So now this is the child class bus. And create a new cell. This is the second child class truck. Okay. And both of the child class have the super method. Okay. Next, we create an object, each of one child class, bus and truck separately. And we're printing the child class objects to get an output like that. Okay. The Volvo Vajra bus moves very fast. The Tata Ace mini truck moves very slow. If you see, without writing too many lines of code in the child class, through inheritance, we have reused the code of the parent class, right? The parent class could have 100 lines of code. By just inheriting, you are just making the child class so simple. Okay, so the whole purpose of inheriting in or subclass, creating a subclass is code reuse. Okay, code reuse. Of course, by printing the object separately, it will give me the parent class string method, the drunder method. Okay, are you getting the output?
Yes.
Okay, next we go to another code cell, create the line parent class with the disk description method. Okay, here is the parent class code. Yeah, and now to the child class code. This is the line cub class, inherits from line the parent class. So here you have the same method of the parent class. The child class has the same method name, DESC, short for description. The parent and child class share the same method name, and we are overriding by having a new functionality here, saying 4-year-old line cup. Okay, and we are adding additional methods in the child class, which is also the dance method here. Okay, and then we go about printing. We create the objects Zuma, which is from the parent class, Alex from the child class. So that's it about inheritance. Okay, are you clear?
Uh, I'm getting an error.
Please share your screen.
Yeah.
Okay. If you did you create the parent class? Yes. Yeah, you have to run that. Okay. Now, yeah. Sometimes in the collab session, you pasted, but you have to run that code. Okay. So that could be the thing. Or if the connection goes off after you pasted, when you reconnect, you have to again run the class creation once again. So yeah, this works, right? Okay, so that completes the inheritance section. We'll start with the decorators in the next week. Okay, is that clear?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Sriram, you have a good day. Enjoy
Yep.
your, yeah. Have
Thank
a
you.
nice day.
Yep. Have a good.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.